Hello, Algebra 1, and welcome back to your Semester 2 final review. We're on to problem 23, which again talks about lessons 8.8 and 8.9, more factoring, a very important topic for this semester. This problem is actually it's a little bit of a frustrating problem. I think it's pretty challenging, so we're going to take quite a bit of time to go through it and give you a whole bunch of different ways you can get the answer, and you can choose your favorite from there. So I'm going to go with the way that I would probably first do this problem and then give you two other options from there. So they want to know which expressions are equivalent to negative x squared plus 3x plus 10. So the first thing I'd probably do is try and factor this problem. Now, to factor this problem with this negative 1x squared plus 3x plus 10, I always like to factor when there's a positive 1 in front of the x squared. So the very first thing I would try and do is I would try and factor out a negative 1, just so everything looks a little bit nicer. That would give me positive 1x squared, negative 3x, and negative 10 if you divide everything by a negative. And the reason I'm doing that is because although normally you could use a box, and you can use a box here, it's a little bit faster to factor when you just have a 1 in front of x squared. We just need to find, and I'm going to show you out here, we need to find two numbers that add up to make negative 3, and I'll put the x here, and also multiply to equal negative 10x squared. Right? You see the negative 10 times 1? And looking at this, I'm pretty confident that'll be negative 5x and positive 2x. Right? Isn't 5 times 2 equal to 10? There aren't too many options that multiply to make 10. Okay? So, because there's a 1 in front of x squared, then I know that the answer is going to be x with the minus 5 and x with the positive 2. So this is my fully factored form. I like this as an answer. The problem, though, is that this guy doesn't actually match any of the factored forms up above. But it gets pretty close. So let's see if we can use this to help us out. Negative 1, x minus 5, x plus 2. Well, the first answer, answer choice F, has an x plus 2 and an x minus 5 and a negative 1. That's the same as my answer. They just switched around the factors x minus 5 and x plus 2. And traditionally, I like to put the negative factor first. They decided to put the positive one first. That doesn't make a difference. Okay? Then you might look at g and go, oh, it can't be g, but because there's no negative 1 out front. But they do a weird thing with a negative x here that we're going to come back to. In fact, all four of the rest of these look a little bit different. It looks like all of them don't have a negative 1 out front. So what they might have done, and this is where things get a little obnoxious, is they might have done one of two options. Option 1 is they might have taken this negative 1 and distributed it to the first set of parentheses, negative 1x plus 5, and then kept the x plus 2. You are allowed to distribute to one set of parentheses, not both, and still have a right answer. However, there's even a second option if they're being particularly sneaky. They might have taken this negative 1 and instead distributed it to the second set of parentheses. So it would have stayed x minus 5, but then we would have had a negative 1x minus 2. So let's see if any of these match our answer choices up above. So I'm looking for a negative 1x plus 5. This doesn't have a negative 1x plus 5. Negative 1x, negative 1x minus 2, negative 1x minus 5. No, so it doesn't look like any of those match option 1, except, I told you this problem's sneaky, look at this x plus 2 times 5 minus x. Isn't that the same thing as x plus 2 times negative 1x? I put the negative x first and the positive 5 second. Right? We can switch the order of addition and subtraction. And can you see that that actually matches my option 1 down here? So G is also going to be a right answer. Okay, let's look at option 2. X minus 5 and negative 1x minus 2. X minus 5 doesn't have a minus. X minus 5, this one does. And negative 1x minus 2. Oh, this matches option 2 down here. So that one matches too. Whew. All right, well then what about G or H and J? Well, I'm pretty convinced, just having done this a lot, that H and J are not right answers, but I want to prove to you why they're not right answers. And this proof is also going to show you how else you could have done this problem. right? This problem could be frustrating enough that you might have just tried to use the box on all 5 answers, and I don't particularly blame you here. So if we're looking at h first, x plus 5 times x minus 2, right? I'll show you like this. X plus 5 times x minus 2. I'm just going to quickly multiply this out and see if it matches what we started with. X plus 5, x minus 2. This will give me x squared minus 2x, positive 5x, and negative 10. So we have our x squared, combining like terms, 5 minus 2 is 3x, and then negative 10. And again, we're trying to see if this matched my original answer of negative x squared plus 3x plus 10. Does that match? Well, no, it certainly doesn't. There's a negative on the x squared here that isn't here, but there's a positive 3x, so that matches positive 10. So this did not match my answer, which means that h is not it. Let's try j. Negative x plus 2, negative x minus 5. So j, negative x minus 2, negative x plus 5. I'll double check that once more before we use the box, since my short-term memory is not always great here. Negative, 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 positive. Negative, positive, negative, negative. Negative x plus 2, negative x minus 5. There we go. Okay. Now let's multiply. Negative x times negative x is positive x squared. Negative x times negative 5 is positive 5x. Negative 2x, negative 10. I'm already pretty convinced because this is a positive x squared and our answer needs to have a negative x squared that this isn't it, but let's just combine them just for fun. 5 minus 2 is 3x, and then there's a minus 10 at the end. X squared plus 3x minus 10 compared to our original problem, which was negative x squared plus 3x plus 10. Yeah, I don't think those match. It's close, but not quite. So again, quite a bit to do for this problem. You can definitely try multiplying all of them out. If you multiply the first one out, I suggest that you multiply just the parentheses first, and then at the very end distribute the negative. So there is problem 23. A lot to it, but I have faith that you guys can be successful. Just take your time, get it done. Keep being successful on that review.